feed forward and tell the enteric system, hey, food's coming, get ready for it. And so it can inform the enteric system, and the enteric system can then take that and be like, okay, smooth muscle, exocrine cells, secretory cells, get ready, right? And so it can then do this process, basically get these results as well. Likewise, these factors can also be, sorry, over here, these peptides can also inform the brain. So there's a long reflex saying, the GI peptide saying, hey, we have food here, we're digesting it right now. So these can affect things like hunger and satiety, the sensation, or so. I cannot say this word properly. Satiation. Satiety. It tells you how hungry you are, basically. And so there's this really complicated interaction about your enteric system trying to do local control with your GI tract, controlling when secretion and smooth muscles are contracting, and then you have your, the actual nervous system trying to play a role, trying to govern when to eat, doing these feed-forward loops, telling, hey, food is coming, get ready for it. And so we'll see these short and long reflexes throughout the lecture here, so keep it in mind. This is kind of the abstract picture of what's really happening. All right. So our GI tract overview. So here we're starting what we call the cephalic region here. And so the cephalic region pretty much contains the oral cavity and the esophagus. And so here, food's being chewed up by your mouth, saliva is being injected into it, and you're eventually swallowing it and it goes down your esophagus towards your stomach. And so here are things that's happening via digestion. So on the digestion front, we're digesting. So we're chewing, and we are chemically digesting carbohydrates via our saliva. So carbs are being digested. We're also doing some secretion. We're secreting various fluids and stuff like that. So saliva. So saliva, like we said, is amylase in saliva. So that is an enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates, specifically starch. But it also serves another purpose. It helps lubricate our food. Our GI tract is, epithelial tissue. It's not the strongest tissue in our body. So, if food goes down it, there's abrasion, there's friction. It could hurt our tissue. It could hurt our GI tract. So to help with this, saliva actually lubricates our food, right? Everyone eating too many, wafers or crackers, and your mouth feels super dry, and you feel yourself choking on whatever you're eating. That's basically what happens when you don't lubricate your food well enough. It just gets stuck in there and starts scraping against your throat, and every time you swallow, it's a nightmare. Hopefully you've been there. And so that's what saliva helps. It helps kind of lubricate the food, so it can also smoothly go down your esophagus. There is no absorption happening here, not yet. None. But there is some motility happening. Here we have, it's basically swallowing and peristalsis. The next phase here is what we call the gastric phase. And if you guessed, it basically involves the stomach. So it's just the stomach here. When food gets into the stomach, once again, we're going to look at what are the 4 things happening in the stomach. So we have digestion here. We have digestion of fats and protein. So the stomach actually also puts out enzymes. It puts in pepsin, puts out some enzymes called lipase. So when you see the enzyme named lipase, what can you infer from its name? So ACE is just saying it eats something, and so lip is referring to lipids, so it eats lipids. It breaks down lipids, right? We're going to see a lot of enzymes here, so you should learn to kind of decipher what they're doing by their name. And so yeah, it puts out lipases, it puts out pepsin. So yes, we have digestion of fats and proteins. We also have acid there to help do that. We also have secretions. Like I said, acid. ACL is being put out there. We have pepsin. We have mucus. Mucus is starting to be produced here, and a suit of other hormones which we'll get later on. I'll just write peptides for now. Then we have absorption. So absorption, there is some absorption at the stomach, and it's pretty much what we call liposoluble substances. So things like alcohol, some nasty viruses, things like that. That's why when you drink alcohol, given that you're of age, it affects you a lot faster than, say, eating some other kind of behavior enabling brownies, all that sugar, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so liposoluble substances can also pass through your mucosa of your stomach, because all lipid-based, all basically hydrophobic or lipophilic things can pass membranes, can bypass your mucosal layer, and get into your capillaries. Then we have motility. So let me rewrite this. So we have all the good stuff. We have peristalsis, and then we got our mixing too. We got segmental. It's kind of a modified segmental contraction. But yeah, we have mixing going on here, and we have eventual movement of food through the stomach here. All right, we got our next phase, which is called the intestinal phase. And this pretty much involves our small intestines and our large intestines. Large intestines will be on the next slide here. But yeah, we have our handful of things. As far as digestion goes, start abbreviating these things. Now we're doing much more chemical digestion. So we have a lot of enzymes that help with it. So we're digesting a whole bunch of things. We're digesting polypeptides, carbohydrates, fats, nucleic acids. A lot of chemical digestion occurs here. We have a lot of secretion too. Oh man, we have We have enzymes coming from not only the small intestines but the pancreas as well. We have bile coming from our liver that helps with fat absorption. We have once again we have a whole bunch of hormones and other signals being put out here. And then absorption, if you can guess, it's a lot. We have liposoluble substances, amino acids, monosaccharides, fatty acids, water, vitamins, ions, minerals. I'm not going to write it all down. It's a lot. Basically, anything you can imagine absorbing, small intestine absorbs. And of course, we have motility. We have our mixing and moving via our segmental contractions and our peristalsis. That happens in our small intestines as well. In our large intestines, we have less activity. So digestion is questionable. I'm going to leave that as a question mark. Classically, it's thought that the small intestines, there's no digestion. I mean absorption. There's no digestion here. Well, put a question mark there. I'll explain myself. Absorption, there's also a question mark. Motility, there is more mixing and moving. Secretion is there's also a question mark. Why are there so many question marks? So, well, here's the reason. Classic